So I knew how to do that. You know what I did not know how to do? Run a friggin' company. I had no idea. No one sent me to CEO school.
No memo.
No, I didn't get the memo.
You didn't get
I didn't
email?
get the CEO school memo. I didn't get that. I didn't see that class in college, like how to be a CEO, how to build your business. I didn't get that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk About Real Estate, but instead of real estate, we're actually going to be talking about entrepreneurship. This is where I kind of bring the difference. I'm actually revamping this channel just a little bit. It's still going to be very real estate focused, but I actually want to talk about investing in yourself and how that can transpire. And I think I have the perfect guest to go ahead and take the spotlight from this. Her name is Kelly O'Neill. She owns 9 companies and she is an entrepreneur, and she has started since she was 19 years old. So she's a true testament of if you want something, you can go and get it, and it is very possible. So welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, and thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here today.
I would love to know all about who you are. So if you can give us a quick little bio of who you are. This is new to the channel, so
Sure. So I am a business strategist, a futurist, and an intellectual property creator in my business world. I run 9 companies that help entrepreneurs, and I really kind of focus on visionaries, people that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world. That's my target client. So I focus on them and the service providers that support them. So that is what I do in my business world. And then I live here in Las Vegas. I've got 3 puppies. Well, 2 of them are not puppies. I have twin Tibetan Terrier girls that are 7 and a little guy who is 2, who is trying to rule the pack. I wake surf. I love living here in Vegas. And yeah, I mean, that is the net summary.
Let's talk about why you love Vegas. Let's just start there, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper into your companies and how that transpired. Why Vegas? Why is this your landing ground? Why did you choose to stay here? Why have you gone nowhere else?
Sure. So, well, first of all, I grew up in the Bay Area. I was born and raised in the Silicon Valley, and I was a publicist for many years in the Silicon Valley during the dot-com boom. So I got hired to help companies reach their results, whether that was going public, raising their business valuation, building funding, and I kind of would get called in to kind of almost flip companies, right? So I started off as a publicist working with companies, and then I started in their PR departments internally, helping them achieve their results, and then as a consultant. So in 2008, I had actually come out here to a conference, and I'd always thought of Vegas as like the Strip, right? Everyone always thinks of Vegas as the Strip. And I was like, and I had the same experiences when I was young, and I would come here and for conferences, and we'd go hang out all night long and whatever. But this particular conference was at Lake Las Vegas, and it was a side of Vegas that I had never seen before. And I loved it. It reminded me I'd grown up with a vacation house in Palm Springs. I loved the desert weather. Love the heat. I love the heat. Unlike anybody else who lives here, they're like, I can't stand I freaking love the heat. And so I came out here and I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is a side of Vegas I've never seen. And then when I went through my divorce, very amicably, greatest guy in the world, just not my guy. When I went through my divorce, I was just kind of ready to sprout my wings. I again, born, raised, lived, immersed in the Silicon Valley. And I was like, I want to go somewhere else. And at the time I was speaking a ton on stages, and I wanted to be in a place where I was traveling frequently to speak, and kind of all signs pointed to Vegas, and then all the stars aligned. And in 2011, I moved here, and I have no plans to leave. I love it here. I love it here.
I love that. Because Vegas, I think, is really something special. It's something special that's to me, and I can tell you that a lot of people that are here can actually see that specialness, and especially other people that are moving here. I think they're starting to realize how special our little desert rock is.
Yes, and so many more entrepreneurs here now.
Yes.
So many more entrepreneurs. Like, when I came here, I didn't know really anyone. And now a ton of the people that I've known in my industry for years and years and years have migrated here to Vegas. So it is just booming with entrepreneurship.
How did you take it from when you were a publicist to your 9 companies? Because that's a big jump, right? How did you start from just being a publicist in Silicon Valley to then becoming an entrepreneur and starting all of your endeavors now?
Sure. So it is a big jump. And let me just tell you, it wasn't from there to there by any stretch of the imagination. So I was a publicist until about 2001. And like I said, I worked for a variety of different companies and agencies. And one of the things that I got really clear on, I actually was hired by Intuit, and they make Quicken, where it used to be Quicken.com and QuickBooks and all of those. And one of the things that I really loved about that position and that company was that I was doing work that made a difference in the world. I loved that. I remember actually back it up a couple years when I was 19 years old and I had gotten started and I was working in a Silicon Valley agency, and Steve Jobs' Think Different campaign came out. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
It starts off with, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the square pegs in the round hole. It's basically about the people in the world that broke the mold, and they innovated, and they challenged the status quo, and they saw things differently. And they're the visionaries in the world. They're the ones that drive the innovation. And I knew, the minute that I saw that commercial, I was like, these are my people, right? These are my people. I didn't realize I was one of those people, but those at the time, right? Because I was young. But I was like, those are my people. And I just loved what Steve Jobs had done with Apple and what he was able to do as far as disruption in a marketplace. It was really big in the Silicon Valley. That whole story of, the rise of Apple was huge. So when I worked for Intuit, and I loved that I was making a difference, right? I felt like I was really contributing in some small way to helping people become financially literate and helping them make a difference in their own world. And I'd known that was kind of my calling in the world. I've always said, so I had a glimpse when I was 16 years old. I was like, I want to leave this world a better place than I came into it in any way that I can. I don't want to just come here and live life and just be or take from the world. I wanted to give back and make some sort of improvement. That's really kind of how I've set my life up. So fast forward, I was in Silicon Valley, and I knew that it was time for me to go out on my own. And I was pretty young, and a lot of people didn't. I got a lot of negative comments about it, even from my own family, of people saying, who do you think you are? You're
my goodness.
You're
challenged.
You're not even 30. And you're going to go start your own company. You should stay in your cushy corporate job where you're making multiple 6 figures. Stay there. And I just knew that it was time for me to spread my wings. And so I left and started consulting. But I was still doing the same thing, right? Now I was at my choice of clients. That's a big thing for me, is living from a place of choice, and really what I strive to help other people do. And I wanted to choose my clients. I wanted to choose and have the freedom to make as much money as I wanted to make, to work with the people that I wanted to work with, and to do the kind of work that I felt was meaningful, and really choose my way. And so I did. And that's how I started my career. I didn't want to work on the chip that made the cell phone work anymore.
Right.
I wanted to do work that was going to positively impact society. And so I started working with companies. I started choosing clients that were doing that. And I had a very, very successful client that was very, very well known back in my day. It's actually part of the reason we have things like iTunes today. And and when I took on that account, and I spent 3 years, and I achieved the results for the company. And at that point, I could have written my ticket anywhere, right? I could have had any client that I wanted. And I had people pursuing me in media, coming after me and interviewing me, and I won all sorts of awards. And I was like, I'm going to hang up my PR shoes.
No way.
I did. I was like, I've reached the pinnacle, right? I think I was just right about 30 years old, and I'm like, I've done stuff in my career that people that are 60 haven't touched. And I was like, that's it. I want to do something different. And I just felt called. And it was kind of scary, right? Because I had only known, from the time I was 19, I had only known being a publicist. And someone said, you should be a business coach. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. I had to Google it. But I had also at the same time been doing a lot of personal development work. I'd been doing a lot of like spiritual development work, personal development work.
I love that.
And I realized, I was like, oh, like I started to see how the two things could come together. That was like a big thing for me, that the two things could come together, and I couldn't quite put them together yet back then. But what ended up happening was I started speaking because I started, again, I'd started my own company. Now I was going to start working with entrepreneurs. So I just did what I knew to do from being a publicist. So I started pitching myself speaking engagements, and I started teaching entrepreneurs how to take the big box branding and public relations strategies and bring these to the entrepreneurs who are doing great work in the world and give them a voice. It's like, hey, I'm going to teach you the stuff that $1 million budget does in Silicon Valley. I'm going to teach you how to apply it to your own business. And I felt like in doing that, I was going to be able to help, and I feel like I did. I was able to help a lot of entrepreneurs who couldn't figure out how to start and run their businesses and find that freedom and success and do that work in the world that they wanted to do. I was able to help a lot of people do that.
And leverage, right?
And really but yes, leverage, but more so for me, it was about helping them find their voice because
the entrepreneurs to leverage their business so they can go out and make a difference in the world.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Like, because those are the people I ended up working with. I wasn't working for people that just wanted to go, be capitalists. It's like they also, I think
there's nothing wrong with that.
I think making money is great. I like go make as much money as you possibly can, because the more money you have, the more good you can do with it. So, but yeah, I started doing that, and then I built a really successful coaching business, but I started to see the flaws in the entrepreneurship model. I mentioned I'm a futurist, so I see markets kind of 10 years in advance of where they are. I can see the problems, and so I started to see that in the entrepreneurial market, as we have it right now, the way that people are being taught to build their businesses, it's not sustainable. And so my work has kind of morphed over the course since I started my business in 2001. And it's morphed into the work that I'm now doing. So I started to really look at the way that entrepreneurship is being done. I started designing new business models, designing new ways of doing business, helping these entrepreneurs find ways to become really, really successful, to scale their businesses with ease from 7 to 9 figures, and also help them really fulfill their personal missions in the world, because it's not all about the money, right? And when people are doing business that's in alignment with their purpose and in alignment with what they're really meant to do in the world, now not only do we have happy, fulfilled human beings who are at such a place of choice in their life and their businesses, but now also they're creating massive success, and they're able to create that profit and live from a choice and then help more people.
Is that where you start off with? Is that, because I want to bring you back to the spiritual, because I just started my own spiritual journey, and I think that it's completely changed not only my mindset, but how I treat others in my day-to-day and how I go about my day-to-day. I started my miracle mornings, and honestly, that's I'm only on day 4, and
you go, girl. Got to start somewhere.
It's been insane from the productivity that I feel that I've been able to achieve. I mean, I wake up at the same time. I've always been an early riser, so I've always woken up between 4:30 to 5. But I was never using that time wisely.
Yeah.
I was never giving gratitude. I was never doing my affirmations. I wasn't reading as much as I should have. I was working out. I was doing one of the things.
Yeah.
But that's it. And now I realized I can do all of those things in my morning and feel like I'm doing something in this world that's going to help not only others, but myself.
Yes.
And it's giving back to yourself first.
Yes.
Is that what you teach them first and foremost in your clients? What's your first strategy that you try to implicate on them?
So the first thing I do when I go in and I work with a client is I actually look for, I just ask a lot of questions. I'm like a business doctor. So the first thing I do is I really do, like I have to understand what's going on and where they feel the mark is. And the first place, like if someone hires me for consulting, the very first thing I do is I work with my energist and we identify their life purpose and their mission. And we put that into words for them. I have yet to not have someone start crying.
Really?
Yes, because and really when I saw mine, I kind of knew what it was, but the minute that it was kind of delivered to me, I was like, "Oh my God, this makes so much sense."
Yeah, I
like
just learned about
it was
human
it was
design.
it was literally like watching the last 25 years go,
On
"Oh,
replay.
makes so much sense. Oh, that makes so much sense." Like it was like watching everything connect. So that's the first place I started. It's like, what's your, like, for what purpose did you come here? Why are you here? And then I look at, and then how are we going to fulfill that mission through your business? Because entrepreneur, I mean, you can fulfill your purpose in lots of different ways in the world. But I work with entrepreneurs who then transform that into a mission and then develop companies that help them make manifest that purpose and mission.
Okay.
That's the first place that I start. And oftentimes, if people haven't done this work before, they actually are like, oh, whatever, do whatever you need to do. But then once I show that to them, they're like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And then we build the business around that. And then that's where we start to identify what's actually working for you in your business and what's not. You know, are you actually operating in your genius zone? Are you leveraging the gifts, the natural gifts that you have, or are you doing a bunch of stuff because someone told you should do a bunch of stuff? And we start to craft the business from there. So the business then becomes an expression of that, and they become purpose-driven businesses. So every business I have now is set up and designed to help entrepreneurs, these visionaries and the people that serve them, along their path to making manifest their vision. So I own, as an example, I own a profit, like most people start with my profit consulting, right? Where I look at 12 different areas of their business and I'm like, what's going on, right? And part of what I look at is the leader and the CEO and their purpose and their mission and their vision and like what's going on there. I look at the culture, I look at the teams, I look at how they're positioned. I look at I look at the markets they've chosen. I look at their pricing, their products. It's like, is everything you're doing in alignment with fulfilling this? Because if not, it's actually a distraction and it's costing you money and time. And it's probably not making you very happy. It's a very liberating experience.
That's a fine line, right? Because something can make somebody money, right? Mm-hmm. But if they're not happy with what they're doing, then they do feel that unfulfillment.
Or they will stop making money because they lose interest in it, and the CEO's energy is kind of what drives the business, right? So, like, if it's not in alignment, it won't ultimately get them where they want. Or they could make 7 figures, but you know what? If they just bumped this way a little bit and got a little bit more aligned, they could be making 9 figures.
That's insane. That's a big difference. That's a big gap.
It's a huge gap. It's a huge gap. So we start to look and we start to get them really focused in the work they're meant to do in the world and serving the world in the way that they're meant to. And then we build the business around that. And now we have such like it's like plugging into an infinite source.
And you have a team, I assume, right?
I have a huge team.
How did that
in multiple
start?
different
How
companies.
did that start for you? How did you start your team in consulting for business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs? How did that start for you?
Not well. So, like, let me just tell you, because, like, let me just be honest. Like, one of the things.
No, be honest, because that's.
Oh, I'm super honest.
I love it.
So one of the things I will tell you is that the hiring and managing of team has always been an Achilles heel for me.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. And in fact, actually, for a lot of entrepreneurs, it is because, entrepreneurs often we come into our business and we think everyone can do what we do, and then we quickly find out that that's not the case, right? And so you can kind of positively project your stuff onto other people and be like, "Well, you can do this. It's really easy." Well, maybe for them it's not. right? So I have wasted a lot of money, or invested, if you'd like to spin it this way. I've invested a lot of money in learning opportunities through hiring poorly. And then what it really taught me to do, I had to learn how to do it the right way.
Right.
But that was not a 5-minute journey for me. Just so
we're clear. It's not.
That we're talking like a 2-decade journey.
So when somebody's starting their own entrepreneurship journey and, they keep running into this hardships or these brick walls, brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. And they feel like it's kind of like when you're digging for gold, right?
Yeah.
And then that gold's it's right there. They just have to keep chiseling just a little bit, a couple more inches. And then they drop everything and they walk away because they think that these lessons or these brick walls they're too hard or they're never going to get there.
I think it was Alex Hermosi who said, entrepreneurship is like getting up every single morning and getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over again until one day you don't. And then you don't know why you didn't, but embrace it that day because the next day you're going to get kicked in the nuts. That's kind of how it is. It's I may be paraphrasing, but that's just kind of how it rolls.
No, that's a really good point because I think that's kind of what stops people from starting their entrepreneurship journey, right? Like a lot of people are in analysis paralysis. They want to leave their W-2 or they want to start making this impact in the world, or they do start their journey and it's just not panning out as to what people on social media make it seem like. And I feel like social media is such a blessing and a curse, right? Because you could see people living this lavish lifestyle, or it's so easy for them. They're making 6 figures, or they're on a yacht now today, but that person makes it look so easy, so seamless because you can only post the good stuff, right? Nobody ever wants to post about the bad stuff. That's not really fun.
Yeah. So if you're an entrepreneur watching this, let me just tell you that I have worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs. And I will tell you right now, 99% of the shit you see on social media it's not
it's
not
real but fake. It's
not the
whole story.
The whole story.
It's just a piece of the story. It's a piece of the good parts to the story.
Correct.
And that's a very valuable point because...
So please don't compare yourself to people on social media because that's not...
Thank you.
...how it goes. And I mean, and I will tell you, I've got clients, like I have a client that makes, I think she's now at almost $60 million a year. And if you watched, and I love her to pieces, but if you watch her social media stories, it always looks easy and blah, blah, blah. And then I will go out to lunch with her or catch up with her and she'd be like, oh, you just don't even know what's going on. Right? So it's very prevalent and then no one talks about it. And then these entrepreneurs do give up.
They do.
Yes. I mean, really, it's like, different level, different devil, right? So the bigger that you're growing your business, you're going to have new challenges to overcome. So this is why also I say not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. It really does take a certain
individual.
It does take a certain individual, and not that there's anything good or bad about that. I think
we need both people.
You need both. You need both different.
You
types.
need entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And you need people that are going to work for the entrepreneurs, and there's nothing wrong.
No.
With that, because not everybody's a leader.
And not everyone has this level of
confidence
and risk, willingness to take risk and willingness, and grit and resilience.
And I think it's a little bit I started learning about human design, and I know that's a little bit
I love human design
of difference, but it actually kind of makes sense. We kind of all are different, but we're the same. Like we kind of, as people, that's why we're different. One person equals or balances out the next individual, right? Some people are like generators that have an abundance of energy, which is what I am. I come with energy from the moment that I wake up. I'm a morning person. I go to my CrossFit class at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, woo, let's go. Like I'm pumped. I'm ready. And there's people that are in there that are like, oh my God, she's talking again. Please stop. But that's them and that's okay. They don't have that same energy. But then as I keep talking and I keep giving like this energy, the whole class changes. It's like I'm giving off my energy to the ones that are lacking. And it's a cool concept. I've only learned a smidge of
It
human
is.
design, but my mind was blown learning about it.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's insane.
that makes so much sense.
It does. It does. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you need all different kinds of people. I mean, I've got people that work in my business that are like, I would never be on camera. That's never happening. And I have other people that are willing to do that. And I have people that are good at systems. And then I've got people that are good at marketing. And I've got, so it does take a balance. It does take all different kinds of people. But I will also say that if you are going to start and run your own business, I would say that resilience is one of the core characteristics that you have to adapt, because at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is you getting knocked down 6 times and getting up 7, because it's that 7th time that could make the difference. And it could be that you get knocked down 60 times and you get up 61, because
That 61 matters.
that 61 matters. So you got to just keep going. And this is also why I really started in this legacy work era that I'm in. I really started linking to people's purpose, because for me, like, this isn't even about building a business. That's not what it's about for me. Like, I'm not building businesses to build business sakes. That's not it. It's like I came here with a specific mission and a specific purpose, and I don't want to die with my music in me. I want to share the gift that I was made to come here to do, and I want to leave the world with that information that I have so that future generations can use it to create even more success and more happiness and more love and more choice in the world. So I will get up no matter what's going on. Like, to me, it's no longer about me. It's not about what I'm trying, like, it's not even about the life I'm trying to have. It's about me doing the work that I'm meant to do in the world.
The life that you can give to others.
Right. Why I'm here.
That's why I started this. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I started this journey. I could have started investing on my own and been selfish and probably learned the hard way. Who knows? I could have probably transpired into something honestly really cool. But this is my way to give back to the world.
I love that.
This is my way. That's why I became an agent. I want to help, the first-time home buyers, or the people that are working the W-2 jobs, that are making good money, but they're not having their money work for them. That, just to let them know that there's different strategies, that you don't have to clock in and clock out every single day, especially if you're unhappy with it. If you're happy with it, then by all means, that's exactly what you should be doing. But if you are coming to a point and stage in your life where you're like, what's going on? Why is my money not doing anything for me? Why does inflation keep happening? Why does the cost of living keep rising, but my salary staying the same? That's who I want to reach. That's so. I mean, I'm trying not to get all teary-eyed, but when you said that, it was like that's exactly what I'm trying to do on this mission. So it's
And then
it's
it will never
amazing.
feel like work a day.
No, this
Right?
doesn't feel like work to me.
No.
This feels like I'm so blessed to get to wake up and do this every single day. And, starting this business has not been easy. It has been far from easy, especially as a new agent, building new clientele, building a brand, building who I am, showing people why I'm trustworthy, why they should do business with me. That's hard.
Yeah.
And some days I'm like, wow, I was making a decent amount of money working for somebody else, but I was so unhappy and I could never go back to it. I would rather fight to the bitter end and continue to give everything that I have to this till I run out to my last dollar. I probably still wouldn't go back to a W-2 unless I physically had to, unless I don't know. This is it. This is it for me. And I hope other people can have that same fire in them, especially the ones that are like, I can't do this anymore. Because there's so much gift to give to the world. There's so many things that can be useful to us and make us grow, whether it's through technology, whether it's through new products, whether it's through new businesses. There's so many things that an individual can do to make this world a better place. They just have to believe in themselves and to have somebody like you in their back corner to let them know everything that you're doing is right. Let me open up your books. Let me see what you can do differently. Let me see where you can leverage something so you can get a little bit more time, so you can actually free up your creativity and go to that next step. because I feel like that's where a lot of people get stuck in that rut, is they keep doing all of this work every single day. They're working 10 to 12 to 15 to 16 to almost to 24 hours in a day, and then they feel like they didn't get anything done because maybe they really didn't. They were using their time to something that they shouldn't have, instead of the creativity side and the giving back side.
And that's one of the things that I address with my consulting clients as well, is we actually look at what they're doing in the world, and I create a CEO job description for them, because that's the thing, right? When I got into this business, I knew how to market, I knew how to brand myself, I knew how to sell. I knew how to do all of that because I came from
that background.
So I knew how to do that. You know what did not know how to do? Run a friggin' company. I had no idea. No one sent me to CEO school.
No memo.
No, I didn't get the memo.
You didn't get
I didn't
email?
get the CEO school memo. I didn't get that. I didn't see that class in college, like how to be a CEO, how to build your business. I didn't get that. And so, I did start going and I devoured trainings and masterminds and hung out with smart people and learned, I learned a lot of things, and a lot of times just by watching, I learned what I didn't want to do. Because I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's shady, or that does not align with my integrity and ethics and values and morals. I'm not doing that. So I learned both ways. I learned what I wanted to do. I learned what I didn't want to do. And then really it was a lot of it was trial by fire. It was a lot of trying to just figure it out and getting kicked in the teeth and then being like, okay, this time it worked though, right? So it does require that. And so, one of the things I say to people when they go to hire me is half of what you're hiring me for is to learn what I learned the really hard way that cost me millions of dollars, because now I can save you. Right now I can save you. Now I can look and be like, oh, I did that one. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, right? Like I did that, and like 10 of my clients did it too. It didn't go well. So now let me help you out, right? So there is something with that wisdom of experience of, trying, falling, getting kicked in the teeth, falling down again, getting back up again, and keeping on going until I found things that worked, and then I found my groove, and then and still, I just had something happen today where I was like, didn't see that one coming, and then you just got to roll with it, because that's part of the gig.
It's just taking the shots that come your way.
You just take the shots and
you learn how to duck and dodge, and sometimes you get hit in the face, but you get back up.
Yeah, and you're like, that hurt. All right, next.
Oh my goodness, I am so inspired by you. It's insane. This part of the segment, I kind of just like asking a couple questions from ChatGPT that I got, and I feed you tacos.
Okay, you're gonna feed me tacos?
Well, I won't physically feed. I won't put them in your mouth.
I'm like, okay. You are so cute with these tacos.
These ones are from Pepe's Tacos. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And give me salsa. Oh, interesting.
All right, well, this is exciting. Thank you.
Guess we're just eating dry tacos.
All right. I've never eaten tacos on a podcast before.
Well,
this is exciting.
That's what makes us unique.
I love this.
I'm actually going to grab some hot sauce.
Okay, I'll wait. Is that like hot salsa? Oh.
This one's not.
That's not hot?
That's not hot.
Okay.
This one's hot.
I'm a big baby.
Okay.
For as resilient as I am as this
steak.
Do you want to split? Want to each have one?
Yeah.
Sure. Here, let's do this. We'll do this. There you go. Ma'am. All right. Look at this. Oh my God. So, sorry, I'm making a mess here. All right.
These ones are for...
Oh.
You, my dear?
Oh, wait. Oh. So I didn't realize. I thought we were each taking two. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're totally fine. I had a session prior to this.
So you've had tacos?
I've had tacos.
Okay.
Cool.
That's you.
All right.
Okay.
He's like, what do I do with this? Why are you standing in my vicinity?
That's funny.
What do you want, lady? Get out.
Well, now let's try to do this without getting cilantro in the teeth and then having that.
Having that in
the shot.
If I see it, I'll stop it.
Oh, cool.
He stops the whole podcast dead in its tracks. He's like, cut. There's cilantro in the teeth, and we cannot have that.
No.
Oh, these ChatGPT questions aren't going to work in your favor. If you had, actually, what's the most bizarre company that you've successfully changed?
Bizarre?
Or it doesn't have to be bizarre. What's one of the most impactful companies that you've been able to change?
One of my clients right now is they do a technology called microcurrent that helps eradicate pain from the 1.5 billion chronic pain sufferers in the world.
Really?
And when this company came to me, they were making under $30,000 a month, had no infrastructure, no operations, they just had a loyal following of people that would buy that. No marketing, no website, nothing. Well, now fast forward, and we are looking to do $7 million this year. They are helping so many people around the world eradicate pain. They're just growing at a breakneck pace. And that's really rewarding because to watch the people every single day that literally were like, some people couldn't walk. And now they are able to play with their grandkids. Very rewarding.
That's
very,
insane.
It's literally like, I was like, this is why I do my job. Very rewarding.
That's insane.
I love it.
That gave me chills.
Very, very, I love it. It's wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's your favorite company that you've helped? Is that probably one of the ones?
I mean, they're all my, they're all my babies.
They're all
my babies.
What's another special one to your heart?
What's another special one? I'm just thinking back. Oh, so many. I mean, I helped a woman launch a very successful business that helped women find their lives back after divorce. And I loved that. And she's really passionate about helping these women really kind of get out of the...
Find them again, huh?
And get out of their kind of like pity or anger or whatever and be like, all right, next chapter.
That happens.
That happens. And
It's
so what are
good
you gonna do next?
You can't sit there and lay down and die.
Right.
Or you can. I mean, you absolutely can, but that's miserable and nobody wants to live to that life.
And so she was just like, okay, so that happened. Let's get up and like let's
Live.
make the best. And I really do. Again, I feel like that helps so many families and so many kids as a child of divorce and being in a situation where, my parents did not handle that well at all. I just think that the more happy parents we can have out there, the more happy kids we can have. And so I love that.
That's amazing.
I love that. So that's the kind of work I love to do in the world.
I honestly think what you do for a profession and how you've been able to change so many people's lives, and I don't think so many people really take into consideration what somebody like you can do for their business. Sometimes they see it as, oh my goodness, it's just another person that I'm adding onto the payroll. Is it worth it? Because I went through that same thing too as a new agent. As do I get a coach? Do I hire somebody to tell me to do things that I need to do? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't really hire coach. I hire consultants.
But
I do because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here for 2 years and try to figure something out that you've already figured out and you've made every mistake known to man. Like, give me the shortcut.
What's a tip that you can have for me as somebody that's starting on their own entrepreneur journey?
Oh my gosh, I have so many tips. Pick a lane. Which one? Like, give me
2 good tips. So
in what? In marketing and business and being a leader and being an
marketing and business.
My biggest marketing tip is when you're looking to establish yourself and you are going after your client base, you're going to want to go after more premium clients. Start there.
Okay.
Do not start. Most people try to work at the lowest hanging fruit and work their way up. That's actually not the most strategically efficient way. I would rather you spend your energy working at the top and moving down.
Wow. I never thought of it like that. because exactly what
Most
you
people
said.
don't. They
That's
think
not-
it's hard to market to affluent clients, and it's not. It's actually way easier once you know how. It's way easier, and it's much easier and much more lucrative and much more impactful.
Wow.
So
You just
Yeah.
blew my mind right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like,
that's my
trying-
biggest
I'm
marketing tip.
trying to regain my thoughts. And business-wise, what should I do? My next business move is obviously I'm a new agent. I just started this podcast. I'm trying to branch out to my own brand. I think I'm remarketing my brand. What would be a tip for me?
I'm going to give you a tip that I wish I had learned early on. You know, a lot of people said, you know, you need to delegate all the admin work and get it off your plate. And I would actually say now, you need to hire other people who can go help make you money, because that is actually going to help you grow faster. So for me in my business, I hire top down. Again, it's the same thing. It's the same principle. Rather than just hiring people that could maybe take off some administrative work, I'm actually hiring people that can go do deals.
That's insane.
So that's where I start. I start with people because those high performers that you're going to hire into your business, they're going to make you 400% more income than doing it the other way around. And your company is going to be able to grow faster, and you're going to grow with a solid management system. And that's actually how you're going to get out of the day-to-day in your business. It's not just by getting out of the administrative weeds.
That I actually listened to a podcast that said something similar today. So to have double confirmation,
I was like, that's confirmation.
in the same day. Thank you.
That's confirmation.
I'm not going to cry on camera. What would you tell your younger self if you could go back and tell her one thing? Just one thing. What would your piece of advice be to you?
I think I spent a lot of time worrying about what other people thought. And I wouldn't do that. I think the most important thing to do is to really know yourself and be able to put your own head down on your pillow and stay the course. And everything else is really a distraction. So one thing that I've learned is that the bigger your business gets, the more well-known you get, the more people that are going to show up with something not nice to say, right? They're going to be threatened by your success. They're going to be threatened by your confidence. They're going to be threatened by your self-love, your passion, your mission, your drive. And there's a lot of people in this world that'll try to take you down, you know, or they'll try to kind of hate on your journey. And that doesn't really say anything about you. That says something about them. So that's something that, you know, and it's funny because the very first piece of advice I ever got when I hired my very, very first business coach, he said, Kelly, in order to be successful in this business, you're going to have to learn two things. You're going to have to learn how to accept rejection and reject acceptance, and you'll be fine. And I went, oh. And as I've gotten, you know, as my years have gone on and I've been through certain things and, you know, had people say, you know, terrible things to me or about me or on social media, you've got all the trolls that are saying stuff. And
I already have them.
oh, yeah. Well, then you're doing something right. Congratulations. Really. Like, really. That's congratulations. And don't pay attention to them. That's what I would tell myself. Because before, like, it would hurt my feelings, you know? It would really hurt my feelings, or I would take it to heart, or I'd start to question myself, like, wow, like, how could someone say something like that to me or say something about me like
In that way.
that? And I realized, like, it's, you know, it's like the Wayne Dyer quote, it's none of my business what you think about me.
This is the best way to end this podcast. I think you have given so much great tidbits, and just even for the person that's at home just watching and just wondering what they can do, I really think that you just made a huge impact, because I know that I'm going to go home from this and I'm going to be like, I cannot wait for tomorrow to start.
Oh,
So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on this journey again with me on another Tuesday. I hope you get to enjoy this new endeavor that I'm doing. I hope that you enjoy this content. And again, Kelly, thank you so much. Where can we find you? Where can somebody go and see your posts, who you are, learn a little bit more about you?
Sure. I am online at kellyoneal.com. 1L, so not like the surfboard. And I'm on all the channels.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much.